the universe can you find the most amazing new computer games? Tons of gossip and all the very latest technology news. Right here on Cybernet, of course, with me, Lucy Longhurst. Something else out soon is this revamped classic for the PlayStation. Viewpoint is a version of that classic shooter Zaxxon, one of the first arcade games that used an isometric or three-quarter view. For players who like it fast and simple, this is it. The Neo Geo CD system had a version of this a while ago, but the PlayStation goes a bit further with surround sound, extra baddies and more detailed graphics. Vary your shot blast, hurl shockwaves, throw firebombs and pick up as many power-ups as possible. It's tough and the 6 very long levels will keep you going for longer than you think. If you compare Viewpoint to other titles, then it doesn't really stand up to all the advances that have recently been made in 32-bit gaming. But does that matter? There are plenty of people out there who think that games like this are some of the best ones ever made. So don't be surprised if a whole load of old games get re-released in the new year. And still on the PlayStation, the latest and most realistic basketball game is almost here. Just when you thought sports sims weren't going anywhere, Sony's own software team have come up with Total NBA 96.
He's hotter than Mama's Cajun cooking.
Its mixture of motion capture, real-time reflections and hyper scene-setting sound effects makes you want to sit back and watch instead of trying to do something with the ball.
Fantastic!
Basketball is all about teamwork, so the finished game will boast an amazing 8-player mode. Whoever you're playing, getting in some cool, stylish moves always helps.
Incredible!
Of course, a good defence isn't going to let you win, but if they play nasty, you'll have your chance at a penalty point. Just another fine detail in what's shaping up to be a great start to the new year for Sony's Super Console.
Fantastic!
Film buffs and movie fans, take your seats as we check out the latest CD-ROMs on the subject of the silver screen. If you're one of the few people who've never heard of Forrest Gump, here's a chance to find out who he is and what influenced the film about him. Although there are clips from the film, this package is mainly about the music that was big at the time the film was set. Swing your hips to a bit of Elvis Presley.
Well, you ain't never gonna rap it and you ain't no friend of mine.
Or listen in on interviews about famous musicians from the swinging 60s.
Elvis was famous for doing things exactly the way he first heard them. If you sent him a demo in the key of whatever, C, F, whatever, even if it was a difficult key for him to sing in, he would do it.
And no good multimedia title would be complete without some video clips.
Just like that, she was gone, out of my life again.
This is a pretty good package, particularly if you enjoyed the film, but it'll probably appeal more to mums and dads who remember the events and music of all those years ago. If you've got 60 years to spare, and I'm not joking, then you'll just about have enough time to get through the whole of Microsoft's Cinemania 96. As you'd expect, it lets you take an in-depth look at anything and everything to do with films. Not only is this package ideal for movie lovers, it's also one for list lovers. In fact, lists feature so heavily in this package that there's even a do-it-yourself list section. This has got to be the ultimate in list obsession. Find Your Favourites is jam-packed with hundreds of films, actors, directors, genres and awards. If you can't remember what a particular film is about, it'll also give you a review. In the suggestions section, you can select what sort of film you're in the mood for. You'll then be presented with, guess what, a huge list of films within that genre. If you just can't decide what you fancy, then choose the roulette option, which will decide for you. So, if you're in the mood for a bit of slapstick, how about Naked Gun? In the online section, you can update information regularly by downloading film reviews and articles from the internet. This sounds great till you find out that you have to be a Microsoft Network subscriber for this to work. See, Hear, Watch is probably the most fun section of all, as you can listen to audio clips and watch film extracts from old classics like Casablanca,
Sam, I thought I told you never to play.
to modern-day masterpieces like Star Wars. And if you're into musical scores, you can listen to those too. Although there are thousands of biographies, portraits and of course lists in Cinemania 96, there's a distinct lack of video clips, only 20 to be exact, and let's face it, that's one of the best bits. But what multimedia titles have made it into the top 10 this week? Down 2 to 10 go cartoon crazy in X-Men. Followed by Dream Machines in The Ultimate Robot. The Lion King Print Studios up 3 to 8. While it's murder mystery at 7 in The First Degree. There's scary fun at 6 in Casper Brainy Box. Aladdin animated storybook drops 1 to 5. At 4, lovable carrot fan Peter Rabbit climbs 3 places. We just looked through it, Cinemania 96 at 3. Wagging Tails and Damp Noses in Paws up 1 to 2. But top of the heap this week, Encarta 96. Most of the letters we get each week are asking for cheats and tips, and who are we to refuse? This week we've got more for Earthworm Jim. You probably know the second Jim game's just been released, but for those of you still struggling with the original, you'll be very glad to know there's a couple of more than decent cheats to help you wriggle to the end. We do have sympathy with you because there's no password option, so if you've already done a level 50 times and still keep dying, here's a way to skip stages and even become invincible. All you've got to do is pause the game and then press left and A together. Then press B, X, A, B, X, A, and start. Then you'll be rewarded with the faces of the zany team responsible for the game, followed by a screen which gives you loads of options to make that worm turn into an invincible level-skipping Super Jim. Now there's absolutely no excuses for not getting to Psychro at the end. After that, it's up to you to ruffle his feathers or completely blast him away. The Pentium processor is supposed to be the fastest thing for your PC, but it's already out of date. These days, it's not word processors or databases that test people's PCs, it's games. Anything that tries to zap loads of stuff around the screen in 3D needs a lot of processing power. Every year, we spend more and more money on trying to make our PCs play the latest thing. Nearly 3 years ago, Intel invented the Pentium chip. It was far faster than the older 486 chips that everyone already had, but cost a lot of money. Wouldn't you know it, now that more people can afford a Pentium, they've invented something else. The Pentium Pro, not a very exciting name, is even bigger, more complicated, and yes, much more expensive than a normal Pentium. If you looked under a really powerful microscope, you could see the 5.5 million transistors that make up the new design. The first models are supposed to be double the speed of the older chip. As you might have guessed, the Pro bit in the name means that all this super-duper power is designed for professionals who do things like virtual reality, computer-aided design, and fancy animation. But that's kind of what they said about the Pentium, and look what people are doing with it now. Expensive Pro chips are already being made, but someday they'll be as cheap as today's PC hardware, and then it's upgrade time. I mean, don't we all want to play that latest helicopter flight sim that needs just a little bit more processing power? Well, it seems that Silicon Graphics have got the Midas touch, and any new technological software they create always turns out to be more impressive than the last. So here's a taster of one of their latest. It's a special demo for the Onyx system that lets you take a virtual tour of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. This may sound dull, but when you look at it, I'm sure you'll agree it's nothing less than superb. Now, if you've ever been to the Basilica in Rome, you'll realise that it doesn't actually look like this anymore, as it was destroyed in the 12th century. So everything you see here has been created by looking back at old records. As with most VR packages, you can divert from a straight line, so if you see something interesting on the way, you can go right up to it and take a closer look. And to get a simpler view of things, you can either turn off the textures or apply the wireframe.
Because it's a high graphics demo, it's really limited to looking at something like this on a reality engine type of machine. As soon as the technology moves down, and it's moving down very quickly to the desktop system, you'll be seeing this a lot more for use in schools, also for architecture, art history, things like that.
That's all very well for the future, but what about the present? Well, the system currently uses 4 processors and over 50 times the amount of memory that most home PCs use. So it's highly, and I mean highly, unlikely that you'll be able to have anything like this at home for a long time yet. But who knows? First there were books on CD-ROM, now you can even get a magazine on a shiny round disc. Blender is an interactive entertainment magazine from America. Made by people like this, for people like this. Blender has a comprehensive contents page, making it easy to flick through the virtual pages. The mag features video interviews with various music stars currently causing a stir in the US, although you need a powerful PC to do them justice.
Hello, I'm Damon from Blur. And I'm Alex from Blur, and we're in New York.
Well, welcome to New York, fellas. You know, you guys are pretty attractive in a British pop band kind of way.
The CD also contains clips and reviews of various cult stateside movies.
Tom is basically a little Yoda figure, and
this is a really cute film.
I've got an album out called 1000 Fires on Radioactive Records. Right now I've got my second single, Fallen Angel, coming out.
As well as all the music plugs, Blender covers topics from fashion to politics, cartoons, and all things electronic in a funny and well-presented way. As this is a CD, you can see and hear the things on review, so you needn't believe the writers. Mind you, one Blender costs the same as quite a few ordinary mags, and we're not convinced it's worth it. It's 2043 and man's made such a mess of the planet that everyone's living in space until Earth's being cleaned up by some helpful robots called Orbots. But the Orbot team's been brainwashed with TV messages, and you've guessed it, only Vectorman is left to fight for the human race. Well, the plot may sound unoriginal, but the game's definitely got a lot going for it. Over 8 levels, our environmentally friendly hero not only looks fantastic in his 3D outfit, but he moves incredibly smoothly. When Vectorman jumps, it almost feels like he's flying across the screen. And those boost-up boots can come in very handy, helping you to collect power-ups or to dodge the host of Orbot enemies out to get you. This legless variety is particularly nasty. As well as shooting the Orbots, blasting a television's always a good idea, as there's a number of weapons and power-ups hidden inside. You'll need these for Top Bad Guy, the boss, who's waiting to greet you at the end of each level. Again, there's nothing mind-blowingly new in the gameplay strategy, but with its mixture of really fluid movement and such close attention to looks, check out the great colours and details like the flags flying in the wind. Vectorman comes as a breath of fresh air onto the platform scene. If Vectorman's not zany enough for you, then Braindead 13 just might be. Your job is to control Lance, a computer repairman who must foil the sinister Dr. Neurosis plan of taking over the world by destroying all the computer terminals in his castle. It's a bizarre combination of horror, action and comedy with oodles of interactive gameplay. It's got the feel of one of those cruddy old 50s B-movies, and it's chock full of silly sight gags and sound effects. All these characters and backgrounds were drawn by hand and animated like a classic cartoon.
I know.
The best thing about this game, besides the stunning animation, is that it's non-linear, which basically means you decide where to go and what to do. There's no fixed path, so you could end up anywhere. Don't say we didn't warn you. Fatal Racing is the latest racing game to come out for the PC. Competition in this type of game is hotting up, and at first glance, Fatal Racing just doesn't live up to the good looks of, say, Screamer, for example. With Screamer, although the car looks pretty similar to Fatal Racing's, it runs more smoothly, and as you can see, the background's a lot more detailed too. But you can't have everything, and the creators of Fatal Racing have concentrated on a broad range of gameplay. Boasting cars with a higher artificial intelligence than other games, you can choose between a computer-controlled or human teammate. There's also a 2- and 4-player option, and just in case you've got 15 mates all linked up via PC, the lot of you can be let loose on the track together. But what really sets this apart from other similar games are the stunt features. Rather than just having cars race around a standard circuit, you can also have a go at ramps, jumps, humped-back bridges, and even corkscrews. And if you can handle this one without getting a dent in the paintwork, you must be Nigel Mansell. Hold on to your holsters as the Saturn turns sharpshooter in Virtua Cop. You may remember we showed you a quick preview of an early version a few weeks ago, and now here it is. All the detail and speed of the coin-op game have been kept. It looks and plays just as well as the original. You get the chance to be a vigilante super cop who has to deal with a whole host of baddies, most of them arms dealers and terrorists. There are 3 levels of difficulty to choose from: beginner, medium or expert, and I don't recommend you get brave and start with expert, or your trigger finger won't thank you for it. Just like the arcade version, you can play with a toy gun, which makes things a lot easier. You can play with the joypad, but it's not ideal. Not only is it quite difficult, but it's pretty inaccurate, even with lots of practice. If you complete the 3 difficulty stages, then you go into ranking mode, where, like it sounds, you try to get the best score to reach the top of the table. But you'll probably have to play for quite a while before you're up to that. Virtua Cop is a seriously good game. The gun's accurate and easy to use, and if Sega carry on making games like this, it should keep Saturn owners very happy. Well, it's time for me to shoot off now. I know it's hard to believe, but we've got another amazing show lined up for next week, so make sure you tune in. In the meantime, we'll leave you with a bit more of a taster of Toy Story. If you'd like to drop us a line, then grab a pen. The address is coming up. See ya!